Happy Families podcast. It's the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now.
Yes, family time is awesome when we're all together, but sometimes we have to make some sacrifices for the betterment of the family.
And now here's the stars of our show, my mum and dad.
G'day, it's Dr. Justin Coulson, the author of 6 books about raising happy families and the founder of happyfamilies.com.au. I'm here with my wife, Kylie, who is shaking her head in frustration. What have I done?
You haven't done anything. This morning has been quite a morning.
In what way? Why has it been so rough?
Well, I'm not going to mention any names, but one of our children could not find a school uniform. She has 2 formal dresses.
She complained to me about that at 6:45.
And she alternates. So she wears a formal uniform one day, sports uniform the next day, which gives me enough time to wash those 2 new uniforms before formal uniform and sports uniform.
Right.
It's really, really easy.
But you've got a spare anyway.
There's a second uniform. So she comes in very, very upset because she could not find her school uniform, and she put it in the wash 2 days ago, so it should be available for her.
Because the washing fairy makes sure that the washing's done that consistently.
That's right. So I said to her, you have 2 uniforms, but you've only worn one this week. It's a short week. And I said, so I'm not sure why you can't find your other uniform. I've done all of the washing. The ironing is all up to date, which doesn't happen all the time, but it is at the moment. I'm on top of it.
So you're searching like the clothes line and the living room for a spare uniform that could be laying around?
Well, I went to the ironing pile because I thought that must be the only other place that it could be, even though I know I'm up to date. And she said, I've already checked there. It's not there. So the next thing, she comes out, she's dressed in a uniform, but it's all scrunched up. I said, where did you get that uniform?
She put it out of the dirty wash.
She sure did.
Disgusting.
And then blamed me that she was going to stink all day.
Right.
Because she had to wear a dirty uniform. So I went down to the girls' bedroom a few minutes later, and you know how some people, and especially our kids, have selective sight?
Right. Like I have selective hearing.
Yes. Well, I did not have to move a single thing.
Yeah.
Her wardrobe door was open. And the third item hanging in her wardrobe was a brand new, freshly ironed uniform.
It was hanging up in the wardrobe the whole time.
This is the same child who can sniff out sugar no matter where it is in the house. I could have hidden it in the best possible place and she'll find it, but she could not find her uniform that was hanging up 3 hangers in. I'm a little bit frustrated.
Yeah.
It's been a hard morning.
Okay. And I've been in the office getting stuff done because we've got so much on today in the office. Hey, we've got some really cool stuff to talk about. Today's I'll Do Better Tomorrow, but we've also got a couple of winners. We forgot to do this last week. This was my bad.
I think you forgot to do this last week.
Because you didn't even know about it.
I didn't even know we were doing it.
I forgot to do this last week, but we've started this thing on Facebook called Little Wins Wednesdays, where it's basically we wanted you to tell us all about your little ones and your little wins.
So I had a little win this morning because I found the uniform hanging up in the wardrobe. Is that how it goes?
No, I don't think that was a win. I think this morning was pretty disastrous. We're looking for real proper wins. And the winner wins a Justinism pack, our 12 little mini A5 size posters to help parents to stay on track, make everything go great. We sell it for $30. You get it for nothing, just for sharing your Little Wins Wednesdays. And then on, of course, Friday, we announce our winners. So we've got 2 winners today.
So last week we had Michelle McLennan Spence, who said, my daughter had a science test on returning to school. She really struggles with learning and especially science. We sat together to write up a learning strategy and how many hours spent learning a section each day. Her iPad with her games and TV only came on at 12 p.m. and the morning was spent learning. There were many meltdowns and arguments, but she studied. Yesterday she wrote the test, and last night as I came to say goodnight, she said, thank you for helping me see the positives of learning and encouraging me. I love you. That was a huge win for her to understand that I wasn't trying to be mean or punish her, but to help and encourage her. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, winning. Well done, Michelle. Thanks so much for sharing that. And this week's winner?
Dee Kennedy. She said, my son, he has ASD, ADHD and ODD, has a new teacher. She called me in this week for a meeting and talked nonstop about how wonderful he is, how well he's progressing, how hard he tries, and how he has friends. Friends. I've never had this experience. What a win for him, for her, and for me. Oh, I want to cry.
Yeah, that's a nice one, isn't it?
It's so nice, especially when you have children that have difficulties, to have somebody see them for who they really are. That's awesome.
Little ones, little wins. Congratulations to Michelle and Dee. We hope that you enjoy your Justinisms poster packs. We'll get them off in the mail to you. In fact, because we're running late and we were supposed to do this last week, they've probably already arrived. But we've shared those wins. We would love for you to jump onto Facebook on a Wednesday when we post for your Little Wins Wednesdays so that you can tell us how you're having little wins with your little ones. Up next, I'll do better tomorrow. What we've won, what we've lost, how we've failed, how we've succeeded in our own parenting experiences this week.
It's the Happy Families Podcast.
For a happier family, try a Happy Families membership, because a happy family doesn't just happen. Details at happyfamilies.com.au.
It's the Happy Families Podcast, the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now, and we are talking success and failure.
Yeah, I'll do better tomorrow. For those of you who are new to
we're not talking success and failure. Let's talk reflections. I like that much better.
Well, that's what I'll do better tomorrow is. It's a chance to reflect on the week that was and work out how we can be better parents tomorrow. Who's first, you or me?
Oh, you can go first.
Okay, so this is a really hard story for me to tell. I have to follow up a tremendous failure with a stunning success because I blew it this week in a really big way. We've been talking for, I reckon, a decade about getting a new TV. Like the TV that we've got, I think it's from about 2006, 2008, great big Samsung thing. And
it wasn't even new for us. It was a hand-me-down.
Well, we got it secondhand in about 2012, but it's not a smart TV and the remote's been lost. But it worked, right? It worked. And for years and years and years, I've walked into the various electronic stores and said, how about if we get a new TV? And then we look at the prices of the TVs, we look at what the TV is, and we walk out empty-handed because I just can't bring myself to spend the money on a new TV when I've got one at home that works. So on Saturday, I've had to duck down to the local electronics store to pick up a DVD player. We still have a DVD player. We're that ancient and we use it enough, but our DVD player had stopped working. So I've gone down there to sort that out. While I'm there, I'm looking at the TVs again. And I make this decision. I'm like, okay, I'm interested. And they had this 60-inch TV, 60 inches, smart TV. It was some brand. No, it wasn't a no-name brand, but it wasn't one of the big brands. 60 inches for $795. Smart TV does everything, fully capable, the whole lot.
We've been looking at TVs that were like 3 times that price.
And that's what I thought. Hang on, why is this so cheap? Maybe it's just but it wasn't a dodgy no-name brand or anything. It was a good TV. So I said to the guy, what's the difference between this one and one of the fancy brands? And he said, it's just the name. I'm like, really though? I mean, we're talking 3-4 times the price. He said, it's just the name. I looked at it and there was another one that was 58 inches right behind it. Only a 2-inch different, both the same price. I said, any difference between these two? He said, not really. They're the same price. They're pretty much, they come out of a different factory, but quality's fine, does it all. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to buy it. So I said to him, what's the best price you can do on this $795 60-inch TV? And he pokes it into the computer and goes, $555. And I'm like, no way. So I said, I'll take 3. I did say I'll take 3, but I was only kidding. I bought it. I walked out of the store with the DVD player, had to go and get the big car to get the TV home. Did all the running around, figured it all out, set it all up, got the internet
So I
connected.
sent you down to get the DVD fixed and you came home with not only a new DVD player, but a brand new TV.
Yeah, and everyone was so excited. But the first thing that I said to the kids once I had it set up was, don't touch the remote. Don't lose the remote. The remote stays right here. You're not allowed to play with the remote. Lo and behold, Sunday morning, the TV's not even 16 hours old. And one of the kids comes to me and says, Daddy.
Well, no, it wasn't Daddy. She was bawling her eyes out before she even said a word.
I've lost the remote and I think you're going to be really mad at me. I'm like, it's not even a day old and we've lost the remote. So I didn't respond like a parenting expert should. I responded like an angry dad on a Sunday morning who's just been given bad news response. I was like, right, all of you go downstairs, find the damn remote.
What did I say to you, honey?
I think you said something like, it'll show up.
I think I might have.
Yeah. So throughout the day, they couldn't find it. They searched for 15 or 20 minutes before they lost interest. And I'm starting, I'm just seething. How is it possible? I must have said to you about 15 times, how could they have lost the remote? I was incredulous.
It literally came up in every conversation you and I had that day.
And you were so calm. You're like, it'll show up. We searched the entire house. We searched outside. We looked in the garden. We looked on the deck. We looked everywhere. Have the dogs eaten it? Couldn't find the remote anywhere. And then on Sunday afternoon, our eldest daughter, who still lives at home, our 18-year-old, says, I just hopped into my bed and I forgot last night I took the remote out of the TV room so that none of the kids would watch TV because they had to go to bed. You and I had been out that night and I slept with it in my bed and I just found it underneath the sheets in my bed. And
I think somebody said, it'll show up. I don't know who said it, but somebody very wise said it would show up.
I was cranky all day. Like, I was so cranky. And it literally, every conversation with the kids, they'd say, so, Dad, can we have some lunch? And I'd say, have you found the remote? Or, yeah, maybe you'll find the remote in your sandwich. I was snarky and I was snide and I was horrible. And how do you lose a remote on day one? But the cutest and most heartbreaking thing was that Emily, the 7-year-old, the one who actually apparently thought she'd lost the remote.
You just dropped her in it.
Well, she walks into the room. She was the one who told us, actually, not Abby. She told us that she'd found the remote and she said, I must have been carrying it and tripped over and dropped it into Abby's bed. And Abby's like, yeah, dropped it into my made bed underneath the sheets.
So not only did Abby sleep with it, she then made the bed,
right,
not knowing it was there.
Yeah. What is the deal with these kids? So my I'll do better tomorrow is that it's a finite universe.
Don't sweat the small stuff, honey.
Kids lose stuff. It didn't feel like small stuff. It took me 10 years to buy the damn television and it took them less than a day to lose the remote. It didn't feel like a small thing. Gosh. It was so frustrating. Anyway, on Monday morning, I made up for it because I got the kids.
Are you going to tell my story now?
Oh, okay. So that's my I'll do better tomorrow. Don't sweat the small stuff. Be patient with the kids. And if they lose stuff, it will show up.
Well, I'm here to make you look 100 times better.
You're so good to me.
Because sometimes in family life, you kind of just have to make some decisions that you wish you didn't have to make, but it's going to be better for everybody in the long run.
Yep.
We've had a really, really busy holiday period and a lot of extra people in the house, and our house really needed a once-over.
Our house needs a 3 times over, let's be honest.
And it's been driving you and I both crazy. We're both very neat people, and we like things to be a certain way, and we like everything to have it, be in its place and have a place. And our house has not been that for weeks on end. And, we've hit the ground running with back to school, and it's just continued to kind of morph into this.
Back to school feels like a long time ago.
So anyway, I decided that the only way we were going to get through this was I just needed to send everybody away. And the wonderful thing was that you just got on board, and the first thing you did on Monday morning was you took the kids for a bike ride through the city.
Yeah.
I was so jealous. Can I tell you how jealous I was of you guys going to the city, doing the bike pass on the bike? We haven't done that as a family for years because little Miss Emily, who's now 7, couldn't ride a bike. This is the first time you've been able to do it with her in tow, and she did the whole thing.
So what I was going to do on Monday morning was get up and go for a surf on my own. And I was laying in bed after the alarm went off and I thought, it just feels a bit selfish. It's a public holiday and I really should be with my family. And then I thought, instead of going for a surf, I might jump on my bike and I'll just do a short bike ride because I need to do something fitness. And then I thought, no, the kids really need me. And I didn't know that you were intending to do what you did. And so I just loaded up the car and you said that you were going to stay home and clean. I was like, missing out on all the fun. We had the best morning. We stopped at New Farm Park. For anyone who knows Brisbane, we stopped at New Farm Park, rode along the Riverwalk into the city, down past Eagle Street, through the Botanic Gardens to South Bank. Then we turned around and rode all the way back. Stopped at New Farm Park. The kids had, Emily doesn't call it a chocolate thick shake. She calls it a chocolate smoothie.
It's healthier if it's a smoothie.
So we had chocolate smoothies, played in the park, got home at like 11 o'clock. It was just an awesome morning. And we got home to a mostly clean house. It was phenomenal. I mean, winning all the way. So your I'll do better tomorrow is sometimes you've got to kick the family out, get Dad to step up and get the house clean. Is that what you're saying?
I think sometimes we just have to prioritise and we have to work out. And yes, family time is awesome when we're all together, but sometimes we have to make some sacrifices for the betterment of the family. And as a result, we've gone through an entire week where the house has been ordered, structured, clean, and it's just been a delight. And everyone has felt it.
Well, the take-home message the universe is finite, and when you lose stuff, it eventually shows up, and sometimes it doesn't, and it's okay either way. And don't take it out on the family when they make mistakes, because everyone does. Like you said, sometimes it's okay to prioritise and not do things as a family, because stuff just has to get done, and everyone feels better when we can be at peace with that.
But next time I'm coming for the bike ride. Maybe I'll leave you behind to clean.
Yeah, we're not going to get the same outcome in either context. We really hope that you've enjoyed the podcast. I'll do better tomorrow. We'll be back next Friday. Hey, on Monday, we're going to do a really nice summary and review of Mother's Day. Kylie has written something really special. Can't wait to share that with you on Monday. And on Tuesday, answering one of the curliest and trickiest, most sensitive questions that we've ever had to the podcast from a mum who has a daughter who is identifying as transgender. That's all coming up on the Happy Families podcast next week, and a whole lot more. The podcast is produced by Justin Rulon from Bridge Media. Craig Bruce is our executive producer. If you're loving the podcast, please leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts so that others can find out about it and make their families happier. If you'd like more info about making your family thrive, you can find it at happyfamilies.com.au.